Hello, it's Samantha, and welcome back to The Caffeinated Poet. And this is where I talk about books and having my little bookshop, and maybe read poetry and talk about writing. There's a lot of ideas I have for the podcast. So, right now, I have actually been just reflecting on the short story that I read yesterday. I was by myself when I was reading it, so even though it's not a very scary ghost story by Charles Dickens, to be read at dusk, it still gave me this like eerie feeling because I was alone, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since yesterday. And I thought maybe why not do like a reflection on the piece, and maybe this could be a spark note version, maybe. I don't know. Kind of imagine that maybe somebody would want to talk about it because I want to talk about it. I mean, I just want to like not just talk about it, but discuss what I read and how it made me feel. So I don't know if that's like selfish or annoying, or but I don't have anybody that enjoys that. Maybe I should go be a teacher. But To Be Read at Dusk was written in 1852 by Charles Dickens, and I I chose Charles Dickens because I feel like he's a classic writer that is easy to read, like compared to other Victorian authors. I'm a little bummed because one of the Victorian writers that books that just sold in my bookshop, she got a wonderful book. I did decide to price this rare book pretty low. I guess I just wanted to, I don't know, make an easy sale, but also give somebody something really nice because I've gotten deals like that before. And right now I can't really do any giveaways. So Um, Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. He's a Victorian author. And then like poets like William Blake, um, Lord Byron. I love reading a lot of the English romantic poetry. So that's why I chose Charles Dickens. It's kind of up my alley. But I will say that reading the short story, the perspective, it was like, you know how in animation they break the fourth wall? That's kind of like what it felt like. So I'll give you the Spark Note version. You can just listen to the story, um, or you can listen to this, but also maybe still listen to the story or read it. And basically, in the story, what happens is that you, the narrator, kind of walk up this mountain and you stumble upon these couriers. And I kind of get this feeling that I'm a grave digger because there's dead bodies in the snow, and he compares, uh, basically, there's a lot of similes to red wine, like blood. And I thought that was really pretty. But my favorite part actually was when it got to that next paragraph and he was like, that's not my simile. So it gave you this like unique experience, in this perspective as like a narrator. So I thought that was really interesting. And um, so in the story, you meet up with these guys, like this German, Swiss dude. They're just talking and they're exchanging ghost stories, but they're not ghost stories, is what the German is saying. And he's kind of insinuating about like paranormal happenings or just like things you really can't explain. I also got the feeling that maybe the reason why the wine simile was used was maybe because the German had been drinking. I, for some reason, in his dialogue, got that he was drinking, and I could just imagine a German having some alcohol with him on a snowy, cold night. If they're grave diggers, maybe. Or who knows what they are? I don't know. I just imagine grave diggers, or maybe grave robbers. I don't know. It doesn't say anything other than courier. Maybe if I did some research on the place and the location and kind of see where what significance that has with Charles' life, maybe I can find out. There's a lot of places in here, but anyways, continuing with the story, Charles, or us as the narrator, we are listening to the German and the Genoese guy exchange these weird happenings. And the first, so there's basically like uh, uh, like two ghost stories. The first one is about an English lady who has a dream of a man, and she's like terrified of him, doesn't want to see him, and her husband is going to rent this place for the summer. Anyways, they rent this place, and one night at a party, the guest arrives, and it's a man, and it's the one in her dreams, so that freaks her out. And thought it was kind of funny how, like, in the story, her husband kind of makes her out like she's going crazy instead of having a legitimate concern, and having the guy come over every day instead of being like a good husband and be like, yeah, if he makes you uncomfortable, I'm not gonna let him here. But he doesn't do that because I don't know. And she ends up getting stolen away through the night by this guy. And then the second one story is about two like twin brothers, and they are it's kind of confusing because it's like I said, it's like a third person and narrative from another narrative. It's kind of weird. Um, the brothers are going to see each other, or they see each other, and one of the brothers like gets sick, or he's telling him like, yeah, I'm not feeling very good. I'm just gonna go home, and if I feel better, I'll come out and see you. But if I don't get better, you'll come and see me. And that's exactly what ends up happening. So that night, his twin brother sees his twin's phantom, and it like warns him that his brother's going to die. And then he like gets up in the middle of the night. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't feel very well. I'm just so sick." And the guy who's telling the story, the Genoese, he is like, "Let me go get a doctor." And while he's running out, the someone is at the door saying that his brother is gravely ill and just on the verge of death. So it kind of predicted that in a sense. What happened, like his phantom or whatever came to warn him. I thought that was interesting. Both of them are very dreamy. So the lady, she has a dream, and the guy, he kind of has a dream. And it kind of reminds me of like how sometimes, well, even the German guy says it in the beginning, like he says it like, have you ever just seen somebody and just think it's that person or your friend, and you just know you're gonna see your friend that day, something like that, Heinrich or whatever. And I just thought that was interesting because that does kind of happen. It felt like Charles Dickens was trying to tell another story in a sense. I just felt like everything was just one big metaphor. Even the ghosts, or not ghosts, they weren't ghosts. So I'm gonna choose another short story to read, and they might be uh more. It might be more like Charles Dickens, or I might do something else. I'm not even sure yet. The Charles Dickens story I read for my first time, and that's the first time I ever read it, and I just kind of just dove in. I was bored, and I've been watching a lot of true crime lately. So that's kind of like what inspired me to do this. The books are also available in my bookshop. So, um, you know, uh, here's like me self promoting myself, but I work really hard in my shop and I have a ton of books, so it would be nice to see them uh, find homes that aren't in my apartment so I can get more books. And I try to find some really good ones now. So I'm gonna go choose a book and then do another reading, a ghost story, and yeah. Even though probably I shouldn't do ghost story because I am again alone in my room. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the short story itself, Charles Dickens, and if you have any recommendations that I should read, I think that would be fun. Or submit your own stories. I was thinking about opening it up for people to submit stories, and if I like it, I'll read it. So I will be back with you guys, and until next time, bye.